Hey everyone, welcome to episode 8 of the Miami Tech Pod. As always, I am joined by Brian Breslin, Maria Durchie, and Will Weinrob. And we have a great episode today. We have a special guest later on the pod, Lucy Lopez, the host of the Power 96 morning show, is joining us, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, how's everyone doing this week?
I'm doing amazing. This has been a great week. I think there's been a lot of interesting stuff and geeky stuff that I've been able to dive into. Plus, Bitcoin passed 50,000. So that made me happy. I can't buy a car like Will's yet, but maybe one day.
We need to do someone needs to make a website of Austin Bunson's friend who when Austin sold his TV to his friend for 2 or 3 Bitcoin. We just needed like a running countdown of how much the TV would be worth right now. I saw a couple people put investment fails in that respect. I know Chamath Palihapitiya bought a plot of land in Lake Tahoe for $1 million in Bitcoin, and it would have been worth like $180 million today or something like that. So be careful what you buy in Bitcoin, because the value of Bitcoin could go up and you could wildly overpay for things.
Well, Brian told me last night that there was a refresh event many years ago where we sold tickets and we accepted Bitcoin as payment for these tickets. And I'm like, well, where is it? And he's like,
where's the Bitcoin, Brian?
He said he used it to pay for the pizza.
It was like 0.5 BTC, which at the time was only like $600 or something like that.
Wow.
And we had to convert it instantly. I think we were using like BitPay or something, and it converted instantly to US dollars. But I was like, Maria, that was like, or I think the total was like $37,000 in today's coin value.
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, where's that Bitcoin? I'm like, back into the ether, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
As we record this, we are at 54,500 at the moment.
That's it. I quit. I'm done.
Ka-ching. Will, you have any overpaying in Bitcoin stories?
No, because I was not smart enough to buy Bitcoin in the early days, so I could not spend it early. But knowing me, if I would have had some, I probably would have sold. That's the thing. Okay, I hear this all the time, and we're really hard on ourselves because all of us are in the tech space. We all heard Bitcoin in 2011, 2012, and we're kicking ourselves, right? But you can't be so hard on yourself. Let's say you bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. You would have sold half of it. Okay, let's say you bought it at 100 or 200. You would have for sure sold half of it when it reached 1,000 or when it reached 1,500. And the other half, remember, most of the Bitcoin was stored on an exchange called Mt. Gox. That got hacked and everybody lost their Bitcoin. So really, it's very hard unless you had the Bitcoin and you put it in cold storage and it was locked up in that sense and you forgot about it. That was really the only way that you could really, make all that money. But if we had it back in the day, come on, we're humans. We would have sold half of it. The other half would have got lost. Don't feel so bad,
This is how Will makes himself feel better.
Yeah,
I tell myself this story every night before I go to sleep.
I sold some like around 400 that I'd bought around 200, and I thought I was a freaking genius, And then I'm pretty sure I lost at least 2 BTC on Mt. Gox because like you couldn't recover past anything, and it was like, oh well, I mean, now it's like, oh, that's $110,000 or $108,000 loss, but like then it was like $250,
I still think it's the early days. I mean, I'm not going to give investment advice on this podcast, but I'm super bullish on the whole space. So I think we're still early. Believe it or not.
Disclaimer: this is not intended for investment advice. Will, please consult your financial advisor. This is Will owns X% of Bitcoin. Awesome. Well, let's jump into it. We have a really interesting flex as a story, as Rob Weil from the Miami Herald notes in his article that Miami-based venture capitalist Shervin Pershavar has purchased billboards in San Francisco with Mayor Suarez's tweet or a mock tweet of Mayor Suarez. I'm not sure if he actually tweeted it, but it says, interested in moving to Miami, DM me. What does everyone think of that flex by Shervin?
I mean, I thought it was billionaire level trolling. It would be the best way to describe it. And I'm all about it, even though like I take it as like this is tongue in cheek and like, but what's next? What's the next level of one-upmanship in this?
Yeah, my take on this is that so I personally have always been a Billboard skeptic, right? I've always thought like, man, what a waste of money. People like companies pay millions and millions of dollars to advertise on billboards, and they have like questionable ROI, right? Because it's very overpriced. Some experts say, et cetera. But this is the genius move. It's like when you can put a billboard up that generates way more earned media on social media, on traditional news outlets, websites, and you really create a viral moment because of a billboard. I feel like that is cool. With respect to the content on the billboard, it's like, it shows that Mayor Suarez and the community here are in this for the long haul, right? This is not a January fad of encouraging people to move. They're doubling and tripling down, and now the recruitment effort has gone on the San Francisco's turf, and it's going to be interesting to see. What I think the city of San Francisco should do is clap back. I think there's a couple of it would be really interesting to see the city of San Francisco put some type of billboard in Miami. I don't know. What do you all think?
I'd like that. I like the battles.
What do you picture on that billboard in Miami?
It's not what you think.
Well, I would be like, I would just put a picture of like a hurricane, be like, "You good?"
or something like that. Yeah, it's not what you
think.
Well,
then we can go back to their earthquakes.
Yeah, this is good.
I don't think it's a strong argument.
No, people should live here. I can't even put myself in there. People should live here. Let's not even try to create San Francisco's marketing. You should definitely move to Miami, period.
I mean, there's no doubt.
We may have a whole contingency in San Francisco listening to our podcast. So
I saw on the data that there are people from like other countries listening to the podcast, definitely some California listeners. So, I hear you.
I think our listeners who are in California should tweet us to @Miami Tech Pod and give us their suggestions for what the counter clapback billboard should say. And if they want, go one further and mock up in Photoshop what this billboard would look like.
All right, Maria, what do you have for us this week?
Caesar mentioned earlier we had a special guest on the podcast this week, the one and only Lucy Lopez from Power 96, who we all grew up listening to. So she had her first article for the Miami.com, and it was titled "Buy a Big Boat and Ditch the Hoodies, a Tech Bro's Guide to Dating Miami Women." Some people understood the satire, others kind of took it a little personally. So we wanted to invite her on the show to kind of tell her story and what prompted her to write this article. So I would love for you guys to sit back and listen to her. She's hilarious, and I'm excited to have her on the pod.
All right, Lucy Lopez, the host of the Power 96 morning show, the internet personality of Miami that you all should be following if you have not already. Welcome to the Miami Tech Pod. How are you doing?
Whoop, whoop.
Welcome,
What's up, Miami Tech Pod? Thank you so much for having me this afternoon. Very, very cool. I feel like I'm the part right now.
There you go.
Right?
No, you're good. You got the glasses on. You're ready to go.
Should I take off my screen glasses? No. Okay, done.
Perfect.
Done.
So for the very few listeners of ours that don't know who you are, why don't you give our audience a little bit of an intro?
Sure. I host a morning show on Power 96. Power 96 is a heritage radio station. You can hear us from West Palm Beach all the way to Los Cayos, aka the Keys. I've been on radio for like over 18 years. I started my career at Power 96, and there I am right now. Let's see. I am the mother of 2 beautiful girls. My husband and I have been together for a pretty long time. Well, how old is our oldest? So we've been together for 10 years. That's how old our firstborn is. And I love the city of Hialeah, and I'm from there. I rep for them pretty hard because I grew up at a time where being from Hialeah was like frowned upon. That was very difficult for a creative like myself. So yeah, I have a sister. My parents are like, Cuban. I love the color blue. No red. Did anybody catch my movie joke there? Okay. What is your favorite color? Anyways, and I'm just kind of a regular Miami girl, I think.
Fun fact, before we get into it, I was born in Hialeah Hospital. Just letting
nice.
So was I.
Oh man, there we go. Multiple people on the pod.
I knew that I was like feeling something for Brian, and I wasn't really sure if he was reminding me of my old dealer in high school, or was that we had something in common, like Hialeah. And look, it was Hialeah.
It's the Hialeah vibes.
Lead back.
Well, also all of us are born and raised Miami natives. We have been listening to you since our parents probably were not paying attention and let us listen to Power 96.
That's what's up.
Yeah. And so I personally loved your piece that you wrote recently, your first piece for Miami.com, on kind of the tech bros that are moving into Miami, and would love to hear from you kind of what inspired you to write this piece.
Amy Reyes, the editor over at Miami.com, and I have been kind of mulling over like what kind of piece I would write for them. She came up with this like really long ass title for the article, and she was like, write something for this. And I'm like, okay. And then I just wrote the article. I didn't really understand what tech bros were until I read a few things online. I went on reddit.com, typed in what is a tech bro, and it's like
that rabbit hole.
Yeah, and then I got really scared, pulled my money out of the stocks, and sat down and wrote this piece, hoping to make people laugh. That's my number one goal every morning, is to just make people laugh, forget a little bit about like everything that's happening in the world. And I just wanted to make people laugh. I didn't want to offend anyone. I didn't want to I remember because you always remember like the bad comments. And then I got like a lot of people really liking what I wrote, people in your field, in your expertise. And then I got a few randos. One girl was like, this is a misogynistic piece. I was like, excuse me? But like, no. And I had one guy write, this is the most vapid piece I've ever read. I'm like, how did anybody see the category it was filed under? It said LOL. Nothing I wrote was meant to be taken seriously unless you read the last paragraph and understand that I did have a little bit of a message.
Except the boat piece.
Yeah. Listen, the boat part was my way of kind of just making fun of the fact that a lot of men come to this city assuming that's what women want. The big old boat, the this, the that. Not all Miami women want the big boat. First of all, their brother probably has one. His best friend has one. And it's a yacht. So we don't really need you to have a boat. And I wanted the piece to be a little bit true and a lot bullshit, And I think I met the challenge.
I think you struck the chord perfectly.
Thank you, Will.
I loved it. It
was fun. It was fun to write. It was interesting. I really did not think. I started getting followed by every tech person in Miami. Like legit, like over 1,000 new followers in 1 week. People from California were like following me. Google Tech News started following me and like reposted the article. And then I was like, oh my God, what if, because, you know, you get in your head and your ego starts to talk to you. I'm like, what if Elon Musk, because you have to say his name like that, Musk's, like retweets or says something super mean, what then? And my husband's like, reality show, baby, let's go. So yeah,
So
that
we're
was
pitching it.
that was my goal.
Elon.
Musk's,
Heard it.
please. So yeah,
We don't know that Elon Musk doesn't listen to the Miami Tech Pod, so
We cannot confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
But I got a question for you. What is one Miami stereotype that you think is 100% true about like Miami? Because I know there's a ton of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think every city has their specific stereotype. You know what I mean? Like a great stereotype that I sometimes think is the worst stereotype about New York City, but it's kind of true. It's like people from New York come to Miami and wear their Timberlands on the beach. Like, not they're gonna walk down Washington Avenue in Timberland. No, like they actually go on the sand and wear Timberlands, and that's kind of terrifying. But the stereotype sometimes fits very well, spot on, like about 96.5% of the time. I think a stereotype that Miami has that maybe that it's not that we're bad drivers. I think we're more like we don't care drivers. So like I'm tired of people saying like, oh, Miami drivers are the worst. No, it's not. And we're not the worst. We're more like we don't care drivers.
It's intentional.
It's intentional. It's kind of like no. This is our you know, our city. We're gonna drive how we want. If you're not from here, there's the airport. Get on a plane and get the hell out of here. That's one. Another one that we have and that really fits is that we are the star and you're not the star. And I got a great taste of that. And I think I was like a freshman at Miami-Dade. We were walking down Lincoln Road and Madonna was walking straight at us, me and my best friend. It was like 11 a.m. in the morning. She was like, literally like just straight. And I'm like, shit, that's Madonna. And my best friend just like looked at her and goes, whatever, kept walking. We didn't scream. We didn't stop. We didn't ask for an autograph. We didn't groupie out. She didn't reach for her Sony digital camera. Hot pink. It was like we just kind of just walked by her and just kept it going, you know? That was like my first Madonna encounter. The second one was on the dance floor at Liquid nightclub back in the day, and it was me and my brother, and my brother was wearing no shirt and a cowboy hat, and she danced like 10 feet away from us. And we still thought we were cooler than her. So I think the people of Miami will always believe and know that they are way cooler than any celebrity who decides to tie their boat to the bay.
I love that. How about on the flip side? How about one stereotype that you think everybody has about us that's way off? They missed the mark.
Oh my gosh. I would get into politics, but my mom can hear me. I think that we don't care. One of the most beautiful things about my career, or the most beautiful thing about my career, is my ability to give back to the community. It's like right there at my fingertips constantly. I'm always trying to find a new way to give back and involve myself with the community. I always consider myself a vessel. Like, how can you use me to get what you need as a community and to make it better? And I think when we end up on these like Grubhub list or wallet.com list of how horrible, Miami people can be, they've never been here during a hurricane. They've never been here, during an accidental fake riot at the Walgreens on Biscayne. They've never been here for anything really crazy that shocked us. You know what I mean? That really shook us to the core as a community. We uplift each other. We're there when the going gets tough. It's almost like we have that whole saying of like, don't call my baby ugly, because my baby's not ugly. And the baby being Miami. And I think that we're that community that when we really need to rally together and we really need to uplift each other and really help for real, we pull it off. I can't tell you how many times I've opened up that mic and said, right after a hurricane, I need ice for such block in Little Havana. And if somebody can just come over here with a truck of ice, and just the amount of community that pours out to help me, not a company, not looking for plug, no, like random ass people, chicos, cool kids from Brickell just show up, with the ice in the trunk, ready to help. And I think that's something about our city that not only do other people not realize, but we tend to forget as a community that, we're there for each other,
Agreed. Very, very well said.
Yeah. I mean, it even happens with sports. Like, my cousin who lives in New York, he can talk all he wants on the Marlins, but don't say it in front of me because I'm just gonna defend the Marlins to the death, no matter what y'all think. The Marlins,
no matter who's the owner,
I don't care. It's the Marlins,
right?
As far as I'm concerned, they can do no wrong. Okay, guys.
There you go.
So, Lucy, you made a great point about how, as a community, we actually look out for each other. We have each other's back. With all these tech bros coming down here, what are some things you think they can do to make Miami better rather than turn this into whatever douche town they came from?
I think one of the biggest things that we all need to be hyper aware of is the amount of young tech talent that is living here in South Florida that only you guys know and that I know because my best friend is a hacker for Citibank. So I know where she gets her interns from. She's not getting her interns from big name universities. She's getting her interns from Sunset High. She's getting them from NMB. She's getting them from Carroll City. A lot of kids from Hialeah who can hack into anybody's system like that. And I don't think that it would be fair if all these kids, and I call them kids because I just have this imagination in my head where they all look like Mark Zuckerberg, which is really fucking horrible, but it is what it is. And I need to work on that. All right, guys, nobody judge me. But I have this idea in my head.
They all do look like that. Don't worry.
All these men and women who are coming here to start up their businesses are not going to look where the real raw talent is at. Where are these kids coming from? Are they going to give the kids with tech aspirations here in South Florida and the 305, even the 954, are they going to really give them a shot? Or are they going to choose them to go get their cafecito at Versailles? And I think this is a great opportunity for men and women like yourselves to maybe keep an eye on that. Don't let them take advantage of the raw, untapped talent that is living in this city that is not getting perhaps the shine that they deserve or the shot that they really need to get out of the environment that they live in and, find themselves in a better situation. Does that work for you, Brian? Does that work?
It does. Thank you very much, Lucy Lopez.
I love that. Very well put, Lucy.
Yeah, man. It's they're going to come down here and all right, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you get here? You're setting up a mentorship program that's not going to go to some guy that that his son washes your car.
Right. That's right. Or they're going to invite Bobby from San Francisco to come down to Miami and see what all the fuss is about. Right.
Come live down here, Bobo. Come live on Brickell with us. Is that really going to happen? Or are you going to pick somebody out of our talent pool? The same message, I would apply it also to music and to art and fashion and doctors and nurses. And there's so much opportunity here, but are we taking care of our own? And are we picking from the same pool of talent? Are we being diverse? What's the deal? You need to come here with a plan and woo, you met with the mayor, woo, you're getting, retweeted by, the guys over at Bitcoin. Who cares? What are you doing for the kids here? What are you going to do? Are you going to hire somebody from here? Where are you going to put your office at? Are you gonna leave your office over there in Brickell where nobody can afford the parking? Or are you gonna put your office somewhere maybe in Doral, in the burbs?
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Love it. Fire emojis all over the screen.
And is that what kind of Lucy? Is that what kind of led you to kind of, for those who got through what they thought was the vapid part of the article, toward the end where there was a really important message? So do you have anything do you want to reiterate that message again for our listeners to make sure that they know what the true sentiment of the article is about?
The true sentiment of the article was as follows. Let's have a little fun. You know me, I know you. But don't come here and treat us like a music video shoot. Don't do that. Invest your time and energy where it's really needed. Show up to these schools right now. I mean, my daughter's class, she's in a coding class. She started coding when she was in the 3rd grade. I didn't know what that was. I'm like, what is that? She's like, you make numbers and you put them together and the little robot moves.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. And for her, that was like a really big deal. And when I think about girls like her who may not have it, may not have access to the internet or may not have the laptop to perform these, these codes or whatever. Are you guys going to come here and maybe lend a helping hand? And I think that was the whole real purpose of that article, was to kind of like catch your attention with the fire, then pull you in and go, okay, listen, nothing is on fire. But if you're going to come here, come on. We're not just a TNA city, We're not the ghetto Riviera, There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of love in here. And you're welcome to be part of this amazing community, because sometimes I feel like people come out of town and they have all these connects, A lot of these other guys living here in Miami don't have those connects. Are you going to share those connects? Are you going to share this wealth of information, that you've got hiding in your briefcase for me? Are you going to share that with me? And I hope they do. I hope they share that treasure of knowledge and do it with kindness. Sometimes I feel like Miami is like the butt of some jokes, and let's not fall for that. Let's be proud of who we are, and I'm hoping that whoever comes to our city on any capacity takes advantage of the people here in the right way.
Lucy, I'm really glad you brought that up. That perspective is something that the four of us share for sure, and part of the inspiration of this podcast. Shifting gears a little bit, I want to get your take on the radio industry. You've seen a lot of changes in the industry over the last 18 years of your career. What do you think is in store for the future of the industry? What do you think? We've seen audio as a medium not die out, just multiply 10, 20, 100x through apps like Clubhouse and the explosion of podcasts and all of that. But I'd love to get your perspective on where you think the industry is headed.
If the industry is smart, they will continue to evolve with the times and treat radio in a 360 approach. And this is what I mean by that. I'm no longer some jock who's talking up the intro of a song by Camila Cabello or The Weeknd. I'm that. I endorse a product, and you're going to hear it on the radio, and then you're going to see it on my timelines. There's YouTube. I have a podcast. I have my YouTube channel. I'm dabbling with TikTok. If the radio industry nurtures their talent instead of constantly making them feel that they're wrong with their creative choices, I think the radio industry will grow and will not be forced to evolve, but more so like want to evolve, because you don't want to force anything. And in my experience, and I feel that, the reason behind my longevity on Power 96 and on the South Florida airwaves is because I continue to evolve myself, not reinvent myself, but evolve with everything that's happening and how I can give you my product and my brand on different platforms. If the radio industry really listens to the talent and believes in the talent, there's no stopping, because we're no longer just a radio station. We're like a full-on all medium brand.
You're a media company.
Yeah.
You're in the content creation business, and there are some executives that believe for many years that, airwaves and radio frequency was the distribution method, but now it's like Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube.
Yeah.
And
and podcasts and just, a plethora of other, outlets. It's just a matter of allowing the talent, like believe in the talent. Don't just hire them to fill in this time slot. Like believe in who the talent is and their creativity. And also allow the younger generation that's really interested in this medium to have more of a voice when calling the shots. My director is 30 years old, and every day I learn from him so much, and it's not like a technical, like, hey, if you press this here at this time. It's not that. I'm learning from him how to present my material in a different way where it doesn't take away from who I am here in the city. And he'll tell you that he too learns from me. You know what I mean? We joke around, and like I call him Kanye, he calls me Jay-Z. Like we have this like relationship where we constantly are creating, and I may think of things differently and he does too, but we always come to an agreement. And I don't think I could do that with somebody older than me. And I don't mean to make it like an ageist thing, but I think there comes a point where you have to trust the new kids. You know what I mean? MGMT, like trust them, see what they're doing, see what their thoughts are. And these big companies get really scared when anything is new. They want it to be new, but do they really? Until you challenge them with facts and numbers, and you're like, hey, take over TikTok. You can literally put a logo behind you and you can sell that. And if not everybody believes that, or not everybody gets it, it's never going to evolve.
I mean, that's really fascinating. And I love that your perspective on that, because I think a lot of this boils down to like the radio stations or radio companies understanding what the real value is that they have. It's not owning a frequency on the radio dial anymore. It's being the best at storytelling and being the best at entertaining people in whatever medium or whatever style that they want to be entertained with, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're so right on with that. That's why I tell you, if they need to continue to nurture talent. I think what happens is that they like a mold is created in radio where it's like, you're over 50, check. Oh, you're old, check. You're white, check. You're a man, check. Here's $1 million.
What do you think the most powerful platform today, 2021, is for distributing content in your industry, in terms of radio personality, media, music? What do you think is the most powerful today, or has the most potential to really blow up and get big?
So there's this guy. His name is Joe Rogan. Anyone here ever heard of this guy? My God.
No one.
I mean, hello. Did you see the chequerazo they broke him off for Spotify? I mean,
what was it? Is it 100 million?
It was a bazillion, Caesar. A bazillion.
So made up new numbers just for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if that's not an example of where all of this is going, I mean, I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, you literally get on your Spotify, click Joe Rogan's big old face, and not only do you get to hear it, oh, you want to see it too? Here it is. And I that excites me when I see stuff like that, or when I see, you know, Howard Stern, Baba Booey, like completely dominate satellite radio, where literally the Howard Stern show is Sirius XM.
Yeah, there would not be XM without
right. And now you're starting to think, could Spotify? Well, Spotify like did a lot like for people's careers, like Drake and Camila Cabello and Nicki Minaj, and I mean the list goes on and on. And now they have like, you know, well, they already had all these really great podcasts, but now like Joe Rogan's full on show and the celebrities he's pulling.
Joe Budden's another one.
Yeah. So it's just like one of those things where you're just, wow, man, like this is where everything is going, because people want it all. You want it all. You want to be able to hear it. Oh, I can hear it. Let me watch it. Oh, I don't need to watch it. Let me hear it while I work. And the fact that you can go back and you can re-listen to these amazing interviews he's doing. I mean, there was only one other person in my life that I would want to hear interview anyone, and that's Howard Stern. He's a masterful interviewer. He knows how to speak to the person, his subject, whoever he is in the room with him, or even on Zoom. If you go right now to his Instagram, which I'm so happy he's doing, so I'm assuming there's somebody probably our age in the room with him or outside of the room with him, or has given him some kind of like, hey, you need to do this. If you go on Instagram right now and you look up Stern Show, Howard Stern right now is posting a lot of his material on Instagram. Is he happy with that shit? Probably not, because he never liked it. But when you're able to watch the entire, you know, a Foo Fighters performance, and the best part of that interview are on his Instagram page, it blows my mind. It blows my mind that Howard Stern would allow that, but it also blows my mind that it's like right there. It's you know, it's on my phone. I don't have to tune into the show now, which is something else that's happening in our industry where people don't really need to tune on. They should, and please do so the ratings can go up and I can still have a job. But you could always go to Instagram or TikTok or YouTube to get a recap of everything that just happened live. It's happening right there, you know? Howard Stern's the best. If that was your next question, he's the best.
So basically we need to meet the viewers where they are in whatever that means.
Yeah, like where are they? Like for me, who I target and who my brand is all about is the 18 to 45 Hispanic female. That's number one. And then number two is
specifically the ones stuck in traffic.
Well, yeah.
I mean, this is Miami, so everybody's stuck in traffic.
Everybody's stuck in traffic. Get him, Brian. Get him. And you know, and then the second on that list is just 18 to 45-year-old females, period. You know what I mean? And my girls, as I call them, are consuming TikTok, Instagram, Reels specifically. And for some reason within the past 4 months, and it obviously has to do a lot with the elections, Twitter, it's like they're treating it like a journal. Dear Diary, today, Brian called out Caesar in the Miami Tech Pod. What will life become? And they're treating like Twitter like journals. Their TikTok, it's really easy now to become quote unquote TikTok famous. And the majority of the women that listen to my show, that's how they're consuming every day, you know, and through apps, you know, radio.com app, Alexa, all that.
Are you TikTok famous?
No.
What's the follower count on TikTok?
Nothing. I just uploaded a TikTok to my phone. And I really didn't want to. I really, really, truly did not want to. Because as I mentioned earlier in this chat, my best friend Suhail is a hacker. I call her a hacker. She does securities. And she's like, please don't download it. Please don't. Please,
Your information's going to China.
This is Suhail. Ready? This is Suhail. I'm gonna imitate my best friend. Oh my god, bro, please. Oh my god, please don't download the TikTok. Oh my god, you don't understand. We ran a report on it this morning. We don't even know where your shit goes to. Don't even. Oh my god. All of Russia and Venezuela has hijacked TikTok securities. Please. And when she did that, she was so concerned, and I laughed because that's what I do. And then she scared the bejesus out of me. I'm never downloading it, but not because some Yahoo told me on the news, because she told me, and she was genuinely like, please don't put that, please. And just Friday, I gotta put TikTok on my phone for work.
It was for
terrifying.
Work. The station asked you to do it?
Right. So because of COVID, we're down to 5 people. And a lot of responsibilities have filtered onto the most responsibles. And I'm one of those people. So I've got TikTok on my phone right now. Our girl Evie, who does Afternoon Drive, she is like the TikTok person, the queen. I call her the queen. But
when you just said our girl Evie, I just had like 100 flashbacks to that you said that on the radio. Right? Am I the only one?
Yeah, she's the best, and she took over TikTok. And she's like, you have to put it on your phone. I'm like, I don't want to. Please don't make me. Please don't make me. Please don't make me. And I had to.
Have you jumped on Clubhouse?
I don't want to.
So Maria's our resident Clubhouse expert. She's
the queen of Clubhouse.
I've been invited. I'm like, no.
It gets
Maria
addicting.
will host you on Clubhouse whenever you want. She'll give you the intro, and her followers will.
But what is it? Like, I don't get it.
It's like a chat room, like an audio chat room.
Remember AOL back in the day?
Yeah.
Okay, so
is it like a party line?
Think of it like the text AOL chat rooms, but it's all audio, basically.
It's like the buttoned up serious version of a party line.
I don't know if I'd say that, because on last week's pod, we talked about how there's like these shoot your shot rooms where basically people will try out their best pickup lines. And so there's actually one that was started by New York women where having tech bros give their best line to them, and then they would just roast them for the full time.
The women you should
join in on that.
Yeah, it was really entertaining.
That sounds like
you need to listen to that. Yes, we can do a Miami version. I would love to do this.
Let's do it. Invite me. I've never been to Clubhouse. That sounds like something like like when somebody goes, oh my god, have you had dinner at Komodo? I was like, no, I've never been there. You have to go to Komodo. And then you show up and you're like, how much for what? And you get so offended and you walk out all upset and you look at everybody and you go, how dare you? How dare you eat that, sir? What are you doing paying for that? That's insane. Crazy.
And then you proceed to say, my cousin sells them the fish, and it's in Hialeah. You can get it for half the cost. So
all the fish that you're eating here was fished out of the 44th Street Lake in Hialeah. And you walk out.
I love this. All right, we went in. Lucy, thank you so much for joining the Miami Tech Pod. Do you have any questions for us? Anything you want to know about the tech industry in Miami? We got your call to action. We know we got to look out for the people that live here for sure, and our listeners got that message loud and clear. But any questions you have for us, or anything you want to have insights into?
Yeah, I actually do. Miami Tech Pod. What are you doing for the city of Miami?
So first of all, hat tip to Caesar, because this whole podcast is his idea, and he kind of corralled us. And I think the initiative, I'm not going to speak for Caesar, but I think for all of us who were planning this thing together and trying to get off the ground, is to really shine a light and give a platform for everything that's happening here at the moment. There is a lot of momentum. We are all Miami born and raised here on this stage right here, all 5 of us, Miami born and raised. So we have
school kids.
That's right. Public school kids. That's right. And we have a lot of passion for our hometown. and we want to make sure that the story is being told in the right way. We are excited about all the momentum that's coming and all the new people that are coming. We want to make sure they get integrated in the right way, that we're shining a spotlight on all the startups that are here, but not the new ones that are coming, also the ones that have been here for the last 10 years.
That nobody knows about.
Yeah, well, look, Brian and Maria, these two folks here to the right of your screen, were integral parts in getting this ecosystem going when honestly nobody can give a fuck about Miami tech and what it was. I mean, everybody told us we need to leave Miami. We need to go to Silicon Valley. We need to go to New York. We need to go to Austin, to Boston, to God knows where, because simply you just can't get it done here. There's no venture capital. There's no talent. I mean, we heard these stories ad nauseum, but guess what? We're still here. And now everybody's coming this way.
Good job, Will. Don't quit. That Rick Ross will be very upset with you if you quit. Just
and I can't upset Mr. Ross.
You can't.
I've done that once before.
Don't do it again, bro.
No.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it, man. Like, don't stop. I wouldn't know anything about Miami Tech if it weren't for all the research I did leading up to writing my little article there. And I was like, what? Everybody lives on Bird Road. But I get it. Like, I think that's important. And if there's anything that me or Power 96 or DJ Zog can do for you guys, it would be our honor. And more importantly, if we have nerd questions,
you know where to direct them.
Yeah.
About Umbrella Academy, can we really rely on Brian to giving us the answers?
100%.
I mean, my answer is usually unplug it and replug it back in as the way to fix everything. But I don't know if that applies to Umbrella Academy. But
okay, fine. No, really. If when I told Zog I was doing this podcast, he was like, "That'd be great, man. If we have any like Miami Tech questions, we'll bring them on the show." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. That's what we're doing here, Zog." So you guys are welcome to our show when opportunity arises. Thanks, Brian, for not telling everybody how we really know each other. Caesar, thank you. Will, and of course Maria, thanks for reaching out. At first, when you asked me to be on this podcast, I thought I was being catfished, so I was super excited about that possibly happening.
I think Lucy needs to be a regular on the show.
I agree.
Like bring her back every few weeks to just call bullshit on everything that's going on here.
Yeah, everything is shit. Everything is gaga. Seriously. You know who put it best? Seriously, and then I'll leave. Yeah. My manicurist Karen.
Always a good source.
We call her Karencita. Karencita once told me, she was doing my nails, whatever, and she's like, and I go, es que Karencita, algunas veces I feel like maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe things are, maybe I should, just stop what I'm doing and take a break. And she goes, ay, Lucy, eso es caca. And there weren't truer words, because she's right. Eso es caca. Bye.
You heard it here first.
Awesome. Lucy Lopez, the host of the morning show on Power 96. Thank you so much for joining the Miami Tech Pod. And this is not going to be your last interview on the Miami Tech Pod. And
thank God, Caesar.
I am going to nerd out when I walk into the Power 96 studios for the first time. I don't know about everybody else out, but
they're super clean.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
With that wraps up episode 8 of the Miami Tech Pod. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to rate and subscribe to the pod. Follow us on Twitter at Miami Tech Pod, and we'll see you next week.